Good morning, everyone. My name is Maureen Jenkins, and today we will be visiting 10 standing postures that any beginner can do. Now, these 10 standing postures are going to be in a specific sequence. This specific sequence is designed to help activate the digestive system, but it also helps to strengthen the legs and the lower body, including the lower back and hips. So if you have tightness in your hips, hamstrings, or lower back, these poses are great poses to practice every day. So if you're ready, let's get started. The first pose number 1, is called Samastitihi. Samastitihi is our beginning and ending pose. It is where we start and where we end. And a lot of people don't take this pose as seriously as they should because we need to be grounded and focused and in perfect alignment before we move to the next posture. And then we want to come back to that grounding and perfect alignment after each posture. So to do Samastitihi, we're going to bring our feet together and bring the feet down onto the mat. So lift your toes, spread them wide, and plant them down. You're going to slightly tuck your tailbone so you're not kind of arched in the back. Bring your core in. Bring your arms down by your sides. Let your shoulders move away from your ears. Stand up nice and tall, and let your chin be parallel to the floor. Your drishti or your gaze, and we have a drishti for every pose, here is just simply down the tip of your nose. Start to inhale and exhale through the nose, creating a loud, deep breath. This is called deep breathing with sound. And as we stand here in Samastitihi, we're creating a breath, we're tuning into our body, we are focusing in the present moment. So just think about where you hold your tension. Do you hold your tension in your shoulders and neck? Try to drop the shoulders down. Do you hold your tension in your lower back and you tend to arch your back a lot? Tuck that tailbone. Do you tend to just relax into the belly and let your belly hang out? Suck the belly in. Engage your core muscles. Press down through the feet and squeeze the kneecaps to engage the quadriceps. We're going to hold this pose right now for 5 breaths and notice the energy from the ground all the way up through the crown of your head. Breathing for 1. Breathing for 2. Breathing for 3. Breathing for 4. And 5. Open your eyes, and we're going to move into the second standing posture. So this is going to be number 2. There are 2 variations of this. It's hand to foot and thumb to foot posture, but it's basically a forward fold. So from Samastitihi, you will jump or step your feet about hip width apart. What is hip width? Women especially tend to take their feet much wider, but hip width is just bringing one heel to the arch of the opposite foot and then turning your foot so that they're parallel. And this is how wide your hips are. So for Padangusthasana, we're first going to use our peace fingers. And from that hip width position, we're going to exhale, fold forward, taking those peace fingers, wrapping them around the big toes. From between the big and little toe, wrap your fingers around the toes, press your toes down to the mat. Inhale, look forward, just lengthen the spine, and exhale, bow your head. As you pull on the toes, try to bend at the elbows and work your belly to your thighs. Notice if my legs are straight, I'm a little bit rounded. So you may want to bend your knees slightly, bring your belly to your thighs, and notice how much straighter my back becomes. A forward fold by pulling the navel in and pressing the belly to the thighs helps activate the digestive system. Relax your neck and gaze down your nose for 5 breaths. Breathing for 1. 2. 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, look forward, taking the second variation of the same pose, taking the hands and sliding them underneath the feet with the palms facing up, toes as close to the wrist as you can. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. This is going to be a little bit more difficult than the last pose, so you may need to bend your knees a little bit more. Relax your neck, gaze down your nose, and with your belly glued to your thighs, work on straightening those legs. Full deep breaths for 1, in and out through the nose, always. Unless I tell you otherwise, breathe in and out through your nose. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, release your hands onto the mat to find your balance. Inhale, come up to a standing position, and exhale, come back to that first position, Samastitihi. Posture number 3, Trikonasana or triangle posture. There are 2 variations of triangle posture, and you are welcome to use a block if you need it. So from the Samastitihi position, inhale, stepping out to the right. Your feet should be about as wide as your elbows when you reach your arms out to either side. Take your right toes and turn them towards the edge of your mat. Turn your left toes in slightly with the arms extended. We're going to reach out over the right leg. Notice how I pop my left hip back. And then we're going to fold, bringing that right hand onto the leg and the left hand up to the sky. You can stay here or use a block if you can't go any further, putting your hand on the block. If you can go further, place your hand on your ankle or grab your big toes with your peace fingers, just like we did in that second pose, Padangustasana. Your drishti here is up towards that left hand, and you're working to bring the head back like your body is in one plane. Breathing for 1. Now, a good static stretch is about 30 seconds, so I breathe for about 5 to 6 breaths in each pose so I can get the full benefit. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale to come up, because we always inhale when we extend, and then we exhale when we contract. Switch your feet to the left side. Same thing, reach out over that left leg, using that block or just simply placing your hand on your leg, or grab that big toe with your peace fingers of your left hand and bring your right hand up to the sky, bringing the head back. Breathing for 1. Breathing for 2. Breathing for 3. Breathing for 4. And 5. Inhale, come up. So there you have Trikonasana, triangle posture. But that's just the first variation. Let's move to the second variation, which is starting those twisting postures to work the digestive system and a deeper stretch in the hips and hamstrings. Turn your right toes to the back of your mat and pivot your left toes in so they're at about a 45-degree angle with your right foot. Turn towards your right leg. Inhale, bring your left arm up high. Exhale, as you fold forward, you can place your hand on a block or place your hand next to the arch of your foot. If you're extra bendy and you can keep the leg straight, take your left hand next to the pinky toe. So you're jumping that hand to the opposite side. Reach your right hand to the sky and look up. Breathing for 1. Keep the legs straight. 2, 3, 4, and 5. We use the inhale to come up. So inhale, come to standing, and we're going to do the left side. So switch your feet to the left side. Turn towards your left leg. Inhaling, bring the right arm up. Exhaling, place the right hand down. Remember, you can use that block or place it on the mat, jumping it to the pinky toe side if you're extra bendy. Legs will stay straight. Reach your left hand to the sky and look up. Breathing for 1. Breathing for 2. Breathing for 3. Breathing for 4. And 5. Inhaling, come up to standing. Exhaling, step it back to the front of your mat where it all begins and ends in Samastitihi. Take a moment here in your Samastitihi position to realign, readjust, and focus on your breath. After about 3 breaths here in Samastitihi, let's move to the 4th posture, Parsva Konasana, side angle pose. Inhale, step it out to the right. Now this is a much wider position than triangle, the last pose we just did. So reach your arms out, spread your feet as wide as maybe your wrists or even as wide as your hands. Take your right toes, turn them to the back of your mat, and bend into your right knee. Now we enter side angle from Warrior 2, but we don't stay here. We'll be visiting Warrior 2 later on as a full pose. Bend that right knee and rest your right elbow on top of your right thigh, reaching your left arm up to the sky, creating this straight line all the way up the left side of your body. Now, if you want to go deeper, you can sink those hips lower. Notice how my knee comes over my ankle here. And I'm going to take my hand to the floor next to my pinky toe. Again, using a block if you'd like. Your drishti is up towards the left hand. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. After that 5th breath, press into that right foot. Inhale, come up. What we do to one side, we'll do to the other. Switch the feet. Bend into your left knee. Exhale, rest the elbow on the thigh. Reach the right arm over your head, creating that straight line up the right side of your body, or go deeper. Go ahead and plant that left hand onto the mat or block. Reaching the right arm over your head by your ear, look up. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. After your 5th breath or 6th, inhale, come up. Now we're going to do the second variation of that pose. It's called Prasarita. Nope, not prasa, it's the next pose. This next variation is called Pavrita Parsva Konasana. Just like Pavrita Trikonasana, it is reverse or revolve side angle. So you're going to pivot your feet to the back of your mat to the right side and bend into your right knee. I'm going to turn around so I can demonstrate. And you're going to try to hook your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. And bring your hands in prayer position and look up. If this is as much as you can do, then you just stay here. If you want to go deeper, see how I sink my hips and bend that right knee a little bit more? I'm hooking my armpit above my knee, and then my left hand comes to the mat, and the right arm comes over the head. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And after your 5th breath or so, press into that right foot. Inhale, come up, arms and legs extend, pivot your feet, bend into your left knee and twist. As you're bending, take that right elbow across the body and bring your hands in prayer position. If you'd like to go deeper, sink those hips a little lower, hook the armpit on the thigh, right hand to the mat, left arm over the head, look up. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, come up to the standing position, and exhaling, step back to first position, Samastitihi. So if you get really deep in that revolved side angle pose, that Pavrita Parsvakonasana pose, you'll really work the lower abdominals and the digestive system and start to get some of that stuff moving out of the body. The next pose is called Prasarita Paratanasana, which means intense wide foot stretch. There are 4 variations of this pose. So this will be the 5th pose that we're visiting today in a standing sequence. Inhale, step out to the right again. The foot position for this pose is similar to the foot position from the last pose, just the width. So you want it nice and wide. Let's bring the hands to the waist. We're going to inhale, lift the rib cage out of the hips, and then exhale, fold forward. As you fold forward, keep your legs straight. Press down a little bit through the arches so the ankles aren't taking too much weight on the outsides, and place your hands on your mat. You can also put your hands on a block. Inhale, look forward, and then exhale, bow your head. And if this is easy for you, walk your hands back between your feet and press the mat down and forward to work your belly between your thighs. Breathing for 1. Breathing for 2. 3. 4. And 5. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, place your hands on your waist. Inhale, come up to a standing position. So that's the first variation. We're going to do 3 more. The second one, and we always inhale before we do this pose, just so that we can kind of reset the body. Inhale, reach your arms out. Exhale, place your hands on your waist. Now with your hands on your waist, you want to inhale, lift the rib cage. Exhale, fold forward. And as you're folding forward, press your fingers into your belly. And then suck that belly in. Let the internal organs move up towards the ribs and squeeze your elbows back, gazing down your nose. Breathing for 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Head up, inhale slowly. We always use that inhale to come up so we don't get a head rush. Let's do the third one, which is the most intense for me. Inhale, reach your arms out. Exhale, we're going to interlace the fingers behind the back. So you can go like this behind your back. And then inhale to straighten the arms and exhale to fold forward. And as you bow your head to the mat, lift your hands up off your back, working into those shoulders. I have my legs straight and locked, but if you want, you can soften your knees if it's too much. If your legs are locked, you can lift your kneecaps to engage your quadriceps. Breathing for 1. Eventually one day working the hands to the floor. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lift your head, inhaling. Come up, exhaling, hands to the waist. Last variation of this pose, Prasarita Padottanasana. Inhale, lift the chest, and exhale, fold forward, wrapping your peace fingers around those big toes again. We wrap the big toes around, the fingers around the big toes, because there is an essence of foot reflexology involved in yoga. So when you grab your big toes with your peace fingers, you press those toes down into the mat. You're activating the neck and the head. Bend the elbows out. Work your crown of your head to the mat and breathe for 5 breaths. Breathing for 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Inhaling, head up. Exhaling, hands to the waist. Inhaling, come to standing, and exhale back to the first position, Samastitihi. Number 1, that rooted, that reset pose. Good. Okay, so we've done the first 5 positions. We're halfway there. We're going to move into the next pose, which is called Parsvatonasana, side stretch pose. So for newbies, you're going to reach behind the back and grab your elbows. For more advanced students, if you can, go ahead and try reverse namaste or the full expression in upward reverse namaste. Okay? So just do the best you can, pressing those palms together. This pose has a shorter stance. So we're just going to inhale, step it back with the right foot, and turn and pivot to the back of your mat so that your right foot is forward and your left foot is back. Look at your heels. Your heels should be about in the same line. And we're going to twist the body to the right slightly as we fold over the right leg. It's really important to keep your legs straight here because this is an intense hamstring stretch. Keep working the elbows back to open the chest and look at your right big toe for 5 breaths. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Head up, inhale, keep your hands, pivot, turn, left leg is forward, legs are straight, exhale, slowly fold over that left leg. Again, look at the left big toe, strong straight legs, breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Head up, inhale, turn to center, release the arms. It's okay if you want to shake out your arms and wrists, and exhale, back to the first position in Samastitihi. So there we are. We're already down 6 positions. We only have 4 more to go. So this next pose is a balancing pose. It's called extended hand to foot posture. But today I'm just going to be demonstrating the beginner version because if you're a beginner or even if you're an advanced, we always need to be working on our balancing poses. This has 1 variation, it takes 15 breaths. So we're going to be moving the leg around. So first of all, shift the weight of your body into your left leg and place your left hand on your waist. Inhale, go ahead and grab your right knee with your right hand and point your right toes. Roll the shoulders back and down, lift the chest, gaze down your nose. You can look at your knee if that helps, or a spot on the floor that doesn't move. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, strong core here, and 5. From here, we're just going to open the leg to the right side. Now, if this balancing pose is difficult for you, keep the same drishti you started with. If you're working on balancing and you're improving, look to your left side. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, take the leg back, hands to the waist. I'm going to turn to the side to demonstrate, and you're just going to point your toe out. Maybe your left foot is cramping. That's normal, especially when you're holding a balancing pose for this long. Look at your right toe, breathing for 1, and with every inhale, try to lift it higher. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, bring it down. Good. All right, what we do to one side, we got to do to the other. So shift the weight of your body into your right leg. Inhale, take your left hand around your left knee and point your left toes. Gazing to that spot or to the knee, breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to open the leg to the left side. And if you can, look to your right side. I've got this beautiful orchid that I grew on my right side, so I'm going to enjoy it for the next 5 breaths. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, bring the leg back, hands to the waist. Exhale, point the toe out in front of you. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale and go ahead and bring that left foot down. So that is your first balancing posture in this sequence of poses. That would be your 7th posture. Now let's move on to the 8th posture, which is also a balancing pose. It is a variation of tree pose. So today for you beginners, I'm going to start you off with the tree pose. And then if you continue to take my classes online, you'll see how this pose evolves into something more advanced. Always starting with the right leg first, we're going to bring the weight into the left leg. And then go ahead and take that right foot into the left thigh. Now, a lot of people have that knee coming forward. You want to squeeze your butt, push your hips forward, and bring the knee back. And then go ahead and bring your hands to heart center. And if you would like to go a little bit deeper, inhale, bring the arms up over your head, or you can open your arms like a tree. You can sway like a palm tree in the wind. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, release the arms, and if you can, without touching the foot with your hands, go ahead and bring it down. So in Sanskrit, the full variation of that pose is called Ardha Baddha Padmottanasana, which means half-bound lotus, and then we forward fold. But for today, we're just going to practice that tree pose, being the 8th posture today. Then inhale, take your left foot up into the right thigh. Squeeze the butt, push the knee back, bring the hands to heart center. Find your balancing place. And inhale, bring those arms up into whatever position you would like. Breathing for 1. Breathing for 2. Breathing for 3. Breathing for 4. And 5. Exhaling, bring the arms down and release your foot, returning to that Samasthiti position, which is our first position. All right, 2 more postures to go, and then we will be done with those 10 postures. So back in that Samasthiti position, we're going to be doing Utkatasana. Utkatasana means uneven pose, and you may have seen this pose before or heard it be called chair pose. In this variation of chair pose, we're going to be starting from Samasthiti. So you're going to make sure that your feet are together and that they are touching. Your knees are together, and you're going to bend your knees and sink your hips as low as you can without lifting your heels. So sink lower, sink lower, sink lower. Palms together, reach the arms up. Tuck the tailbone slightly so you have a straight line from the thumbs to the hips. A lot of people stick the butt out and they keep their arms bent. This is not proper. So you want to tuck that tailbone just slightly, sink low, straight arms, look up. Good, hold here. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, sink lower. 5, inhale, stand up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good. And that's number 9. 1 more pose, 2 variations. I know I talked about it earlier. It was warrior 2. We'll call this in Sanskrit Virabhadrasana 1, Virabhadrasana 2. And I'm going to show you how to do both postures in a smooth movement, which is called vinyasa, breath with movement. So from that Samasthiti position, we're going to step back to the back of your mat with your left foot. Your feet should be as wide as your mat is long, almost, and bend into your right knee. Turn your torso towards that right leg and sink the hips. Bring your hands together, reach your arms up over your head, a minor back bend, and you should be pulling that left hip open as you press the outer edge of your left foot to the mat. Look to the thumbs, breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to stay with the arms up. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Turn your feet to the back of your mat. Now we're doing warrior 2 on the left side, facing the back of your mat. Look up, breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now from here, we open the arms, turn the torso towards the side. Notice, I'm going to turn around so you guys can see me better. So we're doing warrior 2 on the left side first, because we finished warrior 1 on the left side. We just open the arms to warrior 2 on the left side. Now, as you bend into that left knee, notice a lot of people tend to lean forward or lean back too much. Just think about your shoulders should be right over your hips, and you want to pull your hips to the side. So the whole body is facing the side in warrior 2, where in warrior 1, the torso is facing the left leg. Good. And really feel those hips open. If you're doing it right, you're going to feel a deep stretch in the groin area on that straight leg. Keep the shoulders over the hips, sink low, look at your left hand. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, straighten the left leg, pivot your feet, bend your right knee, last standing pose. This is number 10, warrior or Virabhadrasana. Look at your right hand, breathing for 1, 2, 3, sink lower, 4, and 5. Inhale, straighten that right leg, turn your toes in, and step it back to the front of your mat in Samastitihi. Find your center, find your grounding. Let all of the energy you created for yourself today sink in. And let's bring the hands to heart center. So there you have it. 10 poses every beginner should be practicing or that they can work on. And if you can master these 10 poses, you'll be ready to start working on some deeper poses that we do on the ground that are much more intense for the hamstrings and the lower backs and even sometimes the shoulders. So today I'm going to close with an Om, and then you can sit or lay down and take rest at your own pace. The Om is the sound of the universe. The Om is the energy that connects us all. It connects us to each other. It connects us to the earth. It connects us to our higher power. It is this one sacred syllable that we do together. So close your eyes. Take a deep inhale through your nose. And when you're learning the Om, there are 3 sounds to the Om. A, U, M. Almost like A-U-M. And you may have seen it spelled like that. Each sound should be equal in the amount of time that you chant it. So everybody's Om is a little bit longer or shorter depending upon their breath capacity or how long they've been practicing it. So just continue to practice A, U, M in one flow, giving each sound equal representation. I thank you for joining me today. If you'd like, you can donate to this class to keep these free classes going at the banner in my YouTube account. I love having you guys watch my classes. May you go with peace and namaste.